A case study about BlueScope Steel. My guests today are Deepa. She is Vice President of Supply Chain and Quality with BlueScope Steel. Hello, Deepa.
Hi, Bob. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Thank you so much for being with me. And Harsh Koppula. He is COO and co-founder of Tada. Hello, Harsh.
Hello, Bob. Good to be here.
Again, thanks for both of you. Thanks to both of you for being with me today. I really appreciate it. Deepa, please tell me about BlueScope Steel.
BlueScope is an Australian-based company. It's $18 billion in revenue. It's a public company, and we have a very big spread across North America. And I'm working for a North America business. It's basically steel making. Mm-hmm. We have upstream, midstream, and downstream. So we start all the way from making steel, converting steel, and then recycling steel.
Oh, really complex operation, the whole supply chain, really.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Now, what was the challenge that you faced in your supply chain that brings us here today to talk?
I started in BlueScope in my position almost a year ago. And I come from different industries, which is automotive, CPG, and steel industry in general. Steel is used everywhere. It's a very essential commodity. However, when we look at the technology aspect in steel, they're very traditional. A lot of things are done manually even today. There's a lot of processes that are not optimized. So for me, it was looking at how do we evolve this business so that it can last the next 25 years? Technology is coming at us fast. So I wanted to start our journey. And as I started to evaluate which part of my business do I need to start with, I came across Tada, and the work that they're doing, especially in that end-to-end supply chain space, is amazing. And I have partnered with them in the first phase of our journey.
So you had a broad scope problem.
Yes.
Sounds like you were searching for a broad scope solution.
Correct.
As well.
Yes.
And you settled on Tada.
Yes.
Harsh, how did you come into the picture? How do you see yourself as fitting into meeting BlueScope's needs?
Well, the whole issue is that we work with a number of global companies, which are very complex supply chains and business as well. And what we find is that they're struggling to go through the transformation that Deepa was talking about because it's all fragmented. There are lots of silos that don't connect horizontally. Right. And in order to be able to solve supply chain problems, you need to be able to bridge all of those so that everybody in the end-to-end looks at the same information, knows what's happening, and can make decisions in real time. And really that's what made the connection with Deepa and BlueScope and the kind of change they were trying to drive. And we are just happy to be part of it.
But Deepa, your ambitions seem to be so large. And again, there's so many things you were trying to do that you brought Tada in to do. How did you even begin to implement the Tada solution?
So it is a 5-year journey. It's not one and done.
It's just beginning, in fact.
It is just beginning.
I see.
We've just started the partnership with Tada.
Mm-hmm.
We are starting with phase 1, which is focused on planning. So starting with demand and supply planning and inventory planning. We are a manufacturing company. We have been forecasting based on a lot of tenure and a lot of people who've been in the business for a long time. We have to be able to use data moving forward and just like Harsh said, have end-to-end visibility. So again, this is the first part of our journey where we're going to focus on forecasting. How do we better forecast our customer needs? And how do we plan for better supply at our end? Mm-hmm. Have the right level of inventory, have the right kind of inventory. One big result that we're expecting out of this first phase is improved customer experience, which is delivering them the product at the right lead time mm-hmm. and at the right time.
Well, let's get to expectations in a moment, but I still want to talk about this challenge starting up. Do you have, number one, sufficient data? Number two, accurate and clean data to even begin an initiative like this?
It is a part of the process.
I see.
The step 1 is mapping the end-to-end process and understanding where our data is. Do we have data? We have data. It's very fragmented. We mm-hmm. have a lot of data silos. And our hope is, with the help of Tada, we bring them all into one database, create that digital twin, which is going to be available for us. And as we build on future solutions, our data is going to get cleaner and cleaner.
Harsh, is this a familiar situation? And in previous engagements with other companies, do you find other customers were in the same kind of situation, and you're undertaking a familiar route to giving them what they need?
It's a great question, Bob. We find this with literally every customer that we are working with. No matter how much money they've invested in technology, they're all still facing the problem of very fragmented information, dirty data, like you said, and systems that don't talk to each other, even within the company, let alone working with people who are crucial to supply chain performance, which is upstream partners, which are suppliers, and downstream agents, distributors, and transportation companies, and literally even the end customer. So what Tada does is it actually gives people an AI-enabled digital twin of the entire ecosystem that is unique to that company, and then stitches together all that information. Because it's an always connected digital twin, it also has the benefit of actually cleansing the data as it goes. Because there's no company that has clean data. It simply doesn't exist. So you have to actually solve for that problem as well. But BlueScope is not unique in that sense, although it's a unique industry in manufacturing. So we do solve for those problems.
But you have all these different aspects of BlueScope to deal with. Is Deepa your contact, or you're having to work with others at BlueScope as well in different so-called silos of the organization? I mean,
Right.
How do you bring everybody together? Are you the final contact, Deepa?
Well, it's a big organization. So am
Yeah.
I the final contact? Absolutely not. We are starting in our business. So for me, I am the executive sponsor for my business. The idea is we start here. Obviously, we have to show results. So we start
Along
here
the way.
along the way.
I can't wait 5 years for results.
No.
Yeah.
Along the way, we have to show results. So it's starting with me. Yes, I'm the main point of contact right now.
Okay.
One will expand.
All right. Again, a 5-year project, and you're just starting out. What is your vision of what it'll all look like when it's all done?
I don't know if it's a 5-year project or if it's a 3-year project. I think it's a 5-year project, but it could be in 3. Who knows? But we are starting on that journey. We are calling it a 5-year journey. My goal at the end of this is to have that end-to-end visibility. What do I mean by that? Starting from my forecasting to supply, to supplier collaboration, and all the way until we ship the product. I want to be able to see that end-to-end visibility, be able to do scenario planning, meaning, things change in supply chain all the time. There's some moving part, there's some disruption.
Yeah.
My goal is not to get rid of the disruption. My goal is, how do I manage the next disruption in a better way?
Yeah.
And that's what Tada is going to help me
Wouldn't it be
do.
nice if we could get rid of the disruption?
Of course.
Not happening. Harsh, what is your vision of what you're delivering to Bluestone in that next 3-5 years, however long it takes?
Right.
What do you expect to provide them with?
So first of all, both Deepa and BlueScope and the team have been amazing collaborators, which is sort of fundamental. And that's actually another very powerful idea within Tada, that you need multi-people, multi-enterprise collaboration. It doesn't need to just work for Deepa. It has to work all the way from executives to execution. So we work with people at different levels in the organization because each of them needs something different to make it work. And so our vision is that ultimately Deepa, the BlueScope team, which is all in, are able to realize their vision, which is they want to take charge of their supply chain. They want it to work and deliver results for their customers. At the same time, they need to manage risk, they need to manage cost, and they need to manage cash.
Right.
And if you're not able to solve for all those simultaneously, you're in a world of hurt. And so we're hoping that through all this collaboration, that's our absolute intention, is to deliver what Deepa is wanting to build. And that would be a great success for them and for us.
Deepa, I almost apologize for asking this question because I know that your attention is going to be laser focused on getting this initiative done, no matter how many years it takes. But I want to know if you've acquired some kind of a vision beyond that, the journey beyond this engagement. What more do you think these guys could bring to you, or what more would you like to acquire beyond this particular initiative?
Especially with Tada, we're just starting. We're just looking at 2 modules right now. So there's multiple other connections that we need to establish as we move forward. So once we gain some momentum with the demand and supply planning piece, we want to move on to supplier collaboration. We then want to move on to the logistics control tower. So there's so much that we need to do still with them. We really want them to be our technology partner for a supply chain planning, sourcing, and logistics perspective. And I know in the next 5 years, they're going to innovate so much more. So I can't wait to see what else they're going to innovate, which we can apply.
You may all surprise yourselves. Who knows what's going to happen in 5 years? But Harsh, what is your vision of the journey beyond?
So the journey beyond is, in one part, what she talked about, but to also deliver capabilities that have been a dream. So, for example, in addition to taking charge of your supply chain, we know that you cannot literally predict disruptions, but you have to be able to be resilient to them. You also want to be thinking forward and say, can I use this digital twin of BlueScope in order to give them a simulation that shows them what their business will operate like under different scenarios that have not yet happened? And you cannot really forecast them because there's no data to do that. But we can tell them that this is how the business will operate if you do A, if you do B, if you do C, or A, B, or C happen. And so that's part of the vision and the journey going forward. But it starts with having a true digital twin of their business.
I want to thank you both for sharing the story of BlueScope and your journey, which has only just begun. It'll be really exciting to see how it plays out. But thanks to both of you for sitting down with me today to kind of give me an introduction to what you're up to. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, Bob.
Well, that was Deepa of BlueScope Steel and Harsh Koppula of Tada. Thank you very much for watching.